Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's an all-you-can-geek bonus round. Spoilercast for Netflix's Squid Game. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Corey Feinsod.
I'm Young.
And Tony Kokonakis.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to our bonus round for Squid Game. We're going to be talking spoilers on this.
Biggest or most watched show ever.
111 million, as we reported on the podcast. Yeah. Netflix never really gives numbers, ever. Like, the fact that they do, they're like, they're ecstatic about this.
Those shoes, by the way, like those white Vans.
Oh, yeah, they're off the chart sales.
7,800% in sales.
Holy shit. I actually saw... I really want to do this. I think I was talking to you, Corey, when we went to...
Yeah.
I really want to do one of the guards or moderators for the game with like a pink jumpsuit.
Pink
like a mask.
jumpsuit, yeah.
But I saw one of those at New York Comic Con towards the
end. Oh, wow.
Like,
cosplay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm like, I want to do that for Halloween and just like...
Because
apparently kids are watching this show, like on Twitter and social media.
Yeah.
What?
It's everywhere. Like, you don't get to 111 million without getting some kids in there.
Wow. Wow. Anyways, yes. So this is a spoiler cast for those who have not watched the show, do not want to know spoilers about shit and deaths and stuff like that, because there's a lot in the show. So go check that out before you watch this if you don't want to hear it, because that's your last warning. So we can freely talk about deaths at this point, which is a lot in the show. But man, 9 episodes. I gotta say the tension build was crazy. And to a level I didn't know I was even at until episode 6. I'm not going to skip to that episode. I just want to say that I hit that holy shit moment. But there's been a lot of people that were posting about the drama build up and stuff. But episode 1 was a slow burn introduction, I think. Like, it didn't bring you straight into what this was. So if you're watching this without knowing what you're going to get into here, it's kind of like, wait, what the fuck just happened at the end of this episode? It's just like, what the fuck just happened? Man, red light, green light was what that was called. And it's amazing how the titles of the show stick out based on, because it's just like, wow, that was like, yep. But yeah, a show founded on playing kids for keeps, essentially. Unbelievable. But I mean, overall, its biggest arc was the poverty and what people will do to, when they've reached rock bottom. And that was what episode 1, I think, really built on, that showing us how rock bottom these people are by showing us one character, and how rock bottom they were at.
I agree with you, but I think it was the first 2 episodes. Like
I
would say it was 2. You're right, 2. I can see 2.
They do choose, the majority choose to say this is not worth it.
Which I was surprised at that, honestly, because I was not expecting that, so it started my trips. I was like,
especially since there's going to be more,
and especially because they went in reverse order, and I was like, oh, the old guy is definitely like, because he was talking to the main character, he's like, I love playing games with everybody. I'm like, oh nah, this motherfucker wants to stay. He's going to ruin it for everyone.
I thought he was voting yes. Yeah,
but he didn't, and I was like, oh, and I thought there was going to be some catch to that. Then I was like, because they dropped them off in pairs, and I was like, are they doing this to be like, okay, you guys can leave, but you got to kill the other person to like leave?
Yeah.
I never played it, so I was like, okay, this is interesting. And episode 2 showed the main cast of characters and how their lives still went to shit, and like you said, Jim, like hit rock bottom, where it's like, well, they literally don't have anything really to lose other than their lives at this point.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they do basically in that episode, like, foretell how everyone dies, like their deaths. Everyone's like in that episode basically does the thing that gets them killed, essentially, which is pretty interesting.
In the first episode,
the second one. So like the gangster guy jumps off a bridge to get into the water to escape the guys. The girl has a knife to the throat of the guy who's going to help her get her parents back. And the guy's committing suicide in a bath, but then stops because he gets a second chance to play the game.
But he still does, yeah.
I didn't
notice that.
I missed that. Holy cow! Yeah, wow. See, that's another whole. I want to rewatch the show now. Like, geez.
Yeah,
I don't
that's so
usually
many
watch
layers.
these things. Yeah, that's a lot.
And then with Ali, like he like grabs the money from the guy and gets his hand taken away, and then obviously his most precious thing gets taken away from him that gets him killed. So yeah, there's just like foretelling every
theft, stealing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I never thought about that.
I never thought about that. That's how they all get killed. That's crazy. Wow. I mean, look at that. Good episode. Look at this already.
Even the main character, he would have died because of gambling, which is what got him into the shithole in the first place with the horse betting, and that got brought back around at the very, very end too. So that is really interesting. Good observation, Corey.
Yeah.
Good observation.
Yeah. So those 2 episodes were obviously the initial oh shit what the shot in the game was pretty crazy, but I mean before that though, like I would say it's just an okay drama at that point. I was like, okay, this was fine. A guy who's down down the dirt, basically, estranged father kind of thing, doesn't care about his daughter kind of stuff. He does sort of, I guess, but you never really established that he even cared that he was there. But I guess that comes back later. But no, it doesn't really.
It sort of does.
It
sort of does.
Yeah. So, but his mom's working like crazy, and and so yeah, we had that, and then in the game, basically getting to the game, which is interesting. The 456 people were chosen. I don't know what the significance of that number was. Like that's what's crazy. But I thought that like having the number 1 character, I'm like, there's a significance to this guy without a doubt. Like, I gotta say though, like, I'm trying not to jump to episode 6, but like episode 6 was like really powerful, and then I was like, it got less powerful for me, obviously, as the series went. But yeah, the games. I think the games were. I think Red Light Green Light was a crazy first game. Like I think that was a game that was like. I think that was the most impactful one for me. Like besides the and the I think the glass. I think the glass was probably the second one for me. That was the third one that was most powerful. But those are the 3 for me. I mean, I'm trying to think of the other games. There was Tug of War.
Yeah.
It was
so in a way, I would say actually for me, the games got worse as they got on because like they started out, the front man.
I thought the last episode had the worst game. Yes.
Because the front man is like, oh, we're trying to give
everybody's got
equal
chance.
And it's like, okay, I get that. And Red Light Green Light, for the most part, is fair to everyone because they picked able people and stuff like that. It wasn't like somebody who was a cripple or anything like that, or handicapped. Sorry if that was an offensive term to use. But as the games got on, they became less and less fair, and I was like, oh, hold up, like especially in the episode with the cookie
bridge.
Well, the bridge especially. But the cookie thing, it's like
the cooking thing was like luck of the
It's like, oh cool, I picked triangle, I picked circle, I got it easy. Well, fuck me, I picked the star or the fucking umbrella. Fuck that. Like that was just like so like that was the first time I kind of like rolled my eyes because like the thing is like it's no fun playing a game if you don't know the rules. Like that to me is like because I love Battle Royale, I love death game stuff like 999, Danganronpa, stuff like that.
Sure.
But they clearly explain, like, hey, this is a puzzle, like, figure it out. Or, like, these are the rules of the game. You have to learn, like, how to do this game. Not like,
luck of the draw.
Pick something out of this bag. Whatever it is, you have to draw it. Like, cool, like, I got a smiley face, and this other person gets, like, a fucking, Sistine Chapel kind of shit. It's like, well, that's not really fair. But,
yeah,
I did enjoy the games, but I just felt, as they continue to regress, and even the tug of war thing, I was like, tug of war is not fair and equal if you have like men and women not equally distributed without being
that was probably the least fair. That was the least fair game that they had.
No,
tug of war.
The bridge was the least fair.
The bridge was the worst. I was like,
I like the bridge. That was the glass bridge.
That took me out of it because I'm like, bro, if you're going first, like the person that was like in the middle, he was the mathematician, he did the calculation, he's like, I only have like a 1% chance.
That's true.
And he had already gotten like
the only thing it could have been is like if you play hopscotch, is there like a specific pattern to hopscotch that you have to do? Because that's essentially what that game was based off of, the bridge.
Depends. No, it's random patterns in hopscotch, I think.
Well, I mean, it's the same pattern, but like the feet you use, I don't know. It's the thing is, so like, but that was like
there was no puzzle.
There's no way that whoever took number one was gonna make it to the end. That was not.
And that was a luck of the draw one. But I mean, like, in that same terms, like the marbles. I loved the pairing up thing they did there and the twist. Like, I love that twist. So
yeah, I mean, I saw that twist coming because when
I liked it.
But this again, like,
I mean, that's like the drama stuff,
right? And that's the drama stuff, and which is why I saw that coming, because they didn't explain it again. It's like they said pair up, and it's like normally you're like, oh, this is gonna be my partner, not my adversary, you know? And it's like,
yeah.
So I was like, well, this is it, and especially when it's the main character and the old guy. I was like, oh, this is where the old guy has to die. It's like. Her.
No, as soon as the two friends, air quotes, with the smart guy from his town, but when he did not choose the main character, I was like, oh, these guys are gonna have to fight each other. That in my mind, that's how it worked.
That was a good way
for me.
I just felt like I knew like the decision. I knew the twist of the game itself, but I felt like they weren't gonna follow through. Deaths we were about to see in that episode. I just felt like they weren't going to go. Like, I felt like there was going to be some out, and we wouldn't see all of those characters that we all got just gone. You know what I mean? Like, we lost half the cast at that point, in that episode that we all were getting attached to up to that point. Because you don't know at this point in the game if it's a last man standing game or if they're going to the prize 4 ways. I mean, I assume it was going to be.
I mean, well, we're getting to the end here, but like, I really did think that it was just gonna be the main guy and maybe the girl. But I just like, you know, because with Battle Royale, the movie Battle Royale, it's break the rules type of things. But I did not think it was gonna be anybody else. But as far as like, if we're going through the episodes, and like, I know
we don't have to go through. We don't have to break it all down.
No, I'm just talking about the ones that were most impactful for you.
Yes.
I don't think any of them were like specifically impactful at all, but there was like some interesting storylines, and like there were some weird storylines that just never played out at all either. It's like,
that's true.
The doctor, and then the cop,
the organ harvesting, and the cop, that was weird that they had those stories in there. And I'm like, season 2, I'm guessing threads, but I'm like,
so like I really thought like the cop thing was gonna like screw up the whole game, and they were gonna like, that's how multiple people would survive,
right?
Because I was like, there's no way, like, because in the beginning it made it sound like, oh, if you survive all the games, you'll be able to share the pot. I was like, no one's sharing this pot. Like, that's not happening. And then they basically proved it when they showed like the winner, like there was a winner in the previous games. And so, I was like, there's no way. Like, the only thing that could happen is this cop is somehow going to screw up the game somewhere, and so the girl will survive with the guy. Because I really thought that she like had as far as being worthy, as far as being worthy to win, she had the most.
Her death, I think, was probably the most shocking. Like, that was a jaw dropper at that point, because I was just like, that's really how they're gonna take her out. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, so here's the thing, and I want to go back a little bit. The other part that I'm nitpicking, or I'm being very critical right now. I want to state that overall, I really enjoyed this series. But it's just because I like it and I enjoy it so much that I can point out the flaws a bit more than I would normally. But the part that, like, I was like, all right, this isn't really about the integrity of the games anymore, was like the one night where like they intentionally like did not prevent other people from being fed or like stealing the food, and like just let that dude kill that other guy right in front of everybody. And they're like, yeah, it's not during the game, we don't care. And it's like, okay, so they knew something was gonna come out, and then they knew people were gonna kill each other overnight. That's not really fair to people. That's not a game. That's just straight up like, hey, you live in a society now. You know, it's like, that's kind of dumb.
I mean, they even stated like saying that this is to weed out the weaklings. Whatever.
And that's fine, but like, don't be like, oh, the games are prestigious, and we won't want to.
Don't stick to the virtues of your games.
Right.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Because straight up, when the doctor got caught, I was like, oh, like, I guess they're just gonna let him back into the games then. Like, maybe he'd say he was forced to do it, but no, they just like straight up shot him. I was like, I was like, okay, like that plot just like that's fine. I love it when things like that. It's like, yeah, this plot line, that's it. That character served their purpose now. Like,
I still feel like that plot line just made no sense. Like the cop thing at least made to the story with it overall. Like I just like that twist for me was so blatant. I'm sorry, like that was not shocking to me. The front at all.
I caught it right away when I was like,
that's ridiculous.
When
but
he was like, I'm the front man. I'm not like, because prior to him saying he was the front man to whoever he answered the phone, I thought he was the head honcho. But as soon as he revealed he was, I was like, that's the fucking brother. That's the brother.
That was the one. Yep, I knew that. Like him looking for his brother.
I was thinking of is that he would have killed his brother by accident.
Because that was the brother. Because that make it more impactful.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, it's the brother.
That's what I actually thought that wasn't impactful. That it was him because also obvious. Yeah. I thought it would have been more impactful that he killed his brother because his whole reason for being there was to save his brother, and then he kills him because he didn't know anybody because they're all anonymous, and he's like, "What the fuck? I killed my brother. Yeah. Now I have to take you down." Like that's what I thought would have happened, but because it's like, well, he's looking for this guy, and this guy's going to be there somewhere, right? So it's got to be this one dude that's kind of stands out, but. Yeah, as far as like the concept, like I love, like we mentioned earlier, I love these battle royale style, like social experiment, like put people in desperate people in desperate situations, and see what happens, and like this type of experiment type of thing, and you know, like I mentioned it before, like battle royale is one of my favorite movies way back when. And that's basically a similar story where you have these kids that are thrown on an island and they have to kill each other, and just whatever. And so this was similar to that. And what's interesting is in a modern day Korea as well, not like some fantasy world or anything like that. It's it was real life right now. The thing that I was really enjoying the show, but that last 2 episodes I just did not really like.
I didn't think they didn't stick their landing very well. No.
Yeah, and not that I have a problem with him with the twist with the certain play. I don't know if we want to reveal it now, but the twist was
fine. We don't need to break down every episode. Yeah.
But like that I didn't see coming just because I didn't think it was impactful. Like we were talking about impacting moments or like building drama or anything. I just didn't think that mattered at all. But I had that one like hint that's like, why do they show everybody else's death? Why do they pan away from this one old guy? Like, is it just because he's old? They don't want to show him get shot? But then I was like, whatever. And then they bring him back. I just thought that was really dumb. And then the main character just standing there watching the guy die, like freezing to death, I thought was stupid. Like, why is he just standing there? Like, why doesn't he go down to save him and be like, screw you? Like, there are people out there. Yeah. And so just that whole thing. And then him, like, wasting away for a year. Like, what the fuck was up with that? Like,
I don't know what they were doing with that. I don't get it.
I get the Squid Game was the last game that they do or whatever. That's fine. But like your friend essentially is like, take the money and like get yourself a better life because I'm not going to be able to do it. So like otherwise nobody get nothing. So he just kills himself so that way he can give the money to him. And the girl asked him to save her brother.
Yes. Both wishes to save his
mom.
Yeah.
And he does nothing. Like he did nothing for a year. Come on.
Yeah. I want to come back to this, but I want to go back a little bit. So one of the other things that I didn't like, going back to the game thing, is after, we're talking about like when they allowed like that battle royale at night to happen, the thing that really pissed me off about the bridge episode was like, okay, first of all, this is completely 100% unfair. Second of all, that was when they finally introduced like the
gambling people,
the rich ass people. Like fucking
I didn't
Elon
like the rich
Musk
people at all.
And Jeff Bezos,
the VIPs.
This is what I imagine people like this do when you're that fucking mega rich. And it was just all a game for like. I honestly thought there was some better reasoning for this other than just whatever.
It comes down to gambling.
So to me, I was like, oh, that's kind of like that's super cliche to me.
I just thought that's what it was. Like I thought that the entire time. I was looking for this or this.
I guess I was expecting.
I figured it was money
to be more than that. But when they're watching the bridge game, and then, we get down to like the last 4 players, and the one dude who worked at a glass
he should have been.
Like, he's looking at it, and they're like, what's he doing? Can he really tell the difference? In this terrible voice. Like, I cannot believe they got such terrible actors to be American.
Yes.
It's like, really? you had no other access to Americans. Like, okay. But they're like, oh, well, let's make it, the front man is like, oh, let's make it a bit more exciting, and like shuts off the lights. I'm just like, bro, like, you're changing up the rules in the middle of the game. Like, don't talk and preach about the honesty and the equality of the fucking games, and then do that at the last minute to this fucking guy. But
also, like, the marble like seemed to be impactful at some point, but it didn't matter.
No, it didn't matter either. Yeah, I was like, I thought that was gonna be something big too. So there wasn't really a lot of payoffs with it, but yeah, then, man, like,
so hold on, and then not only that, when the players do cross the bridge, okay, so the last player crosses the bridge, you would think, okay, well, you can stop the timer then.
Yes,
but they just decide to blow up the glass. I'm like,
that was my biggest problem.
I'm like, why would you do that?
You basically, let's take the mega rich guys. Let's just take that for what it is. Let's say, okay, they're gambling on these last three now, these mega threes, and that's how you eliminate one of them. I mean, you have to make this mega explosion. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like, that's a terrible way to go for that character.
If I was one of those VIPs and I bet millions of dollars on the girl
who
wound up getting
fucking pissed,
injured, and didn't even treat her or anything like that, it's like, well, why are the games like this? You didn't say the fucking bridge was going to explode. Like, so that really, like, I just thought was stupid, and I was like, okay, like, it's just stupid. You know, because she's bleeding out, and it's like she's not even saying anything. Like, hey, I had this really bad glass wound because you decided to blow up the bridge, even though the remaining players cross it. Like,
yeah, I made it successfully across, and you killed me anyways.
Yeah.
Yes, like, I won the game.
Said, like, these people are throwing around like millions of dollars betting on these characters, and then you're just gonna change up the rules and potentially like make one of the characters less successful or less potentially have a successful chance.
I did like I said, I did really like her. I liked her death. Like, as much as I hated her death, I liked the death because it was so like, damn, that's fucking brutal.
It was
how that
sudden,
just went down.
It was
like,
off screen.
Yeah,
because like the thing is, I thought when his friend fell asleep, I was like, nope, this is a trap. And when he started to move, I was figuring, oh, like he's gonna like counterattack with something else or something like that at the last minute.
Yep.
But when she stopped him, I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna avoid this. But then the motherfucker just runs at the door and starts pounding. I'm like, bro, like, you're turning your back on your friend right now. Like,
yeah. Like, I just thought that was a cool off-screen death where it came back and she was. I like that. I thought that was
impactful to me, at least.
Yeah,
that was impactful because, like, aside from his friend, the old guy, this was like the character he was closest to. So it was like, damn. And they were literally just talking about how, like, she's like, you know, take care of my brother, this and the other thing. And he's like, don't talk like that. We'll get you out of here. You know, that kind of thing. The majority has to just agree. Like, you and me, you know, we'll just do it. And it's like, dude, like, damn, like, why'd you have to be a dumbass? But
and he says it out loud too. And then like, oh, this is not good. Because now, there's potential issues.
Yeah, it goes back to, again, like, it goes back to the fairness in the games and letting them, like, the final three. You think protect each one, put them in their own, let the games happen to finish the game properly, because that's the point of the show. But instead, you know, well, I liked her death. You still killed her outside of the game, and they killed her anyway in the game that she won.
I did like, though, they gave them the dinner, like the really fancy dinner, and then they just take everything away, and then they leave the knife. You know, I was like, yeah, but
because I was actually expecting her to actually have him pocketed the knife, because that's how she got into the second round.
Right.
Smoked the knife. So I thought she was going to take that, but then like they just leave it intentionally.
She was like the smartest player out of everyone too.
Yeah, absolutely, she was the most.
Like, she was always ahead of the game. Yeah. But
yeah. No, I think I think, like I said, there were some unfair games in there. I love. Like I said, the first episode was probably the best game, like most random, even matched game, and they probably did go downhill since then. Like, the Marble episode for me, I really, the thing that hurt that episode is the final episode.
Yeah.
That was it for me. You know, that was the problem I had when I said when I had my big, like, the impactful death of the old man was like, oh god, that sucks. You know, the final one to go in the split, but then to have him be one of the people, I thought that didn't work, in my opinion. It just didn't work.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. You know, I was sad when the old man died. You know, at that point we saw it coming. What I thought was interesting was how, you know, instead of the main character losing or winning right off the bat, he cheated to, like, essentially survive that game, which is like, you're like, damn, like I'm sad first of all because this is happening in the first place. It's him versus his best friend. I forgot the Korean word for it now that he used, Ganji or
I know.
Right now. But they say it, I think it's the title of the episode.
Gonbo,
yeah, something like that. But then it's like you feel even worse about it now because he's cheating to survive. Taking advantage of his like memory.
See the anguish on his face, also.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden at the very end when he's like, I need your last marble, man. Like, I need your last marble. He's like, all right, well, let's make a bet. All of mine versus all yours. He's like, how's that fair? I have 19, you have 1. He's like, well, how is it fair for you to take advantage of me? And I was like, wait, why? Like, were you just?
How did you know that?
Yeah. I was like, were you just fucking with this dude the whole time? Because that's a dick move. You shouldn't do that to your friend. It just felt weird to me. And then especially he's like, I remembered, my name, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, oh, off-screen death. And I was like, it just feels weird. Like you're making this dude feel even guiltier or for whatever reason. And then it comes into play in the final episode. He's like, yeah, I was one of the game, I don't know, designers or whatever like that. But, nothing's as fun as, it's not as fun watching the game as it is playing the game. And I wanted to play the game. And I'm like, all right, but you fucking knew everything, so you had an unfair advantage first of all. So again, we're taking away the purity of the game.
He's still rich. He's still taking the advantage.
Right, and then when he loses the game, he doesn't actually die. He's just like, all right, I'm out of the game. I'm like, fuck off, dude.
It's
like, fuck off. And then he wastes an entire fucking year of this dude's life because he got traumatized by his experience. Before you say shit, like, fuck off, fuck you. I would have strangled him. I would have strangled him right away.
Didn't have to. He was dying anyways, right there. He was dying anyways.
Just don't talk. Just go.
I don't understand. I don't understand the character's withdrawal from not following through, especially after getting back there and seeing because he didn't act fast enough. And yet again, a year goes by and he's still. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that part of it. I do like the bounce back, but seemed that seemed sudden after a year of this guy just sulking. The guy in the street's going to change his mind. Like, I'm like, if
I don't think it was the guy in the street. I think it was the fact that he proved that people aren't what the old man believed they were.
That was the guy in the street.
Yeah, but
no, it was the guy in the street that proved that.
It wasn't the main.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever.
Oh, you're talking about the Train to Busan guy? What are you talking about?
No, I was talking about the old man in the bed and him made the bet. And the bet was that the guy, nobody would help that guy. Right? I feel like that lesson is so weird that that's the one that turned his mind around to say, okay, I need to help people.
I don't think that it was I don't think that dude, that random homeless dude being saved was what caused the main character to bounce back. I think
what was the bounce back?
I think he got closure out of that, and
because the old man was alive.
Right, he got closure, and more explanation. Because I think that was to him. Because again, he didn't even want the money at the very end. He wanted to, with his best friend, just be like, "Let's just both vote to get out of here with our lives." Like, like they literally just like punch each other to like half death, and he's like, "Let's just go home." And his best friend fucking stabbed himself in the neck. Which I was not expecting. I was honestly expecting that whole typical like last minute like, haha, I'm gonna try to kill you and force you to kill me kind of thing. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna stab. I was like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. So I think he was traumatized by that, and he did when the front man was dropping him off, which I thought was a weird way to drop off your winner. By the way,
that's true.
Gag and tied, but he asked he just wanted answers to the questions of who these people were, why they decided to do that. Because again, even though he won, he has all this trauma now. Like that's to me is not worth $50 million or whatever the fucking hell the amount.
It was. I think it was 40. I think it was 40 million equivalent.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're out to pay. Yeah, 42 million. 42 million. Yeah,
like that's a lot of money, but that is not worth a lifetime of trauma and PTSD.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't enjoy the money, like if you're just living with the guilt or whatever,
right? And that's what it was, and that's why the show, that I guess is why it plays into like a year later, which I felt was unnecessary, but
right, and same, I felt was unnecessary too. Like,
yeah.
But so what's interesting, I guess, is like the guy has this whole like come back and is like, oh, I'm gonna give like whatever amount of money to the mom and help the brother find a home with the guy's mom, whatever. and then I'm gonna go see my daughter. But then he doesn't go see his daughter.
Yeah, I know.
That
That's
just pissed me off.
That was my point at the beginning.
Like,
He doesn't seem to care about his daughter at all.
Yeah, no, I was like, this game cannot be more important than your family. Like, the whole reason you're doing this was for your family, and now you're just turning your back on your family again because of this silly game, and that made it not feel as good of an ending for me. That's what ruined it.
I mean, I could totally understand that. I totally understand that point, but I think, and just to talk about that, I really enjoyed that thing where like he gets his hair, he's showing how he's recovering. And he's well dressed and he gets off and he's talking to his daughter on the phone saying he's going to come visit her. He's got her present already packed and picked and everything like that. And then he sees the character with the hand slap.
Yeah, the guy, the gambling. Yep.
And I was like, oh shit. I was like, here we go. Because he just darted after that dude. And that dude just got out of the as soon as they made it out cut. He's like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck out. And he fucking armbarred that dude's neck against the wall. And just like, no. Fucking no. Give me that card right now. And I just love the tension of like, because you can tell at that point, like he wants revenge at this point. He doesn't, or justice, whatever you want to call it. He's not interested in like making more money, but and stuff like that.
Is this the first character that had this feeling? Like I feel like these people, like a lot of them would have this reaction because this game's the records went back to 93 or something like that. Didn't it?
Was weird is the front man had almost this like father-son relationship with the old man. Like that's what, and he was a winner.
Yeah. So like I know that, but I'm like, there's been nobody else that felt this way. Like I'm sorry, but I'm like, no, this transformation.
Well, yeah,
like
I mean, maybe that is the front man's story. Maybe he is actually trying to take the games down from the inside. Who knows? I mean, I'm sure that's what season 2
he wouldn't have. About. Maybe that he faked his brother's death, shot him.
That I'm curious about is like, so like you have the contestants, and then you have the enforcers. Like, how did they get the enforcers? Because they have this whole set of hierarchy and set of rules and
I don't know
shit accommodations. It's not
what are those guys making? What are they making?
Exactly. So there was a theory online about the fact that everybody in the video that they're showing playing the game, they all chose blue, and they were all in the green. So the guy's theory is like if you chose red, you got the red, like the pink jumpsuits, or whatever.
I mean, in which game? From
the game where you guys slaps.
Yeah, the slapping in the face.
Oh, I can see that.
Interesting. There's a lot of depth to this thing we don't even think about.
Yeah. But this is like the other thing that's funny without that game is like I think you mentioned it too. Is so hilarious how he kept losing, so he kept like getting slapped, and then when he finally wins, he doesn't care about the money. He just wants to hit the guy.
Yeah, I said that one. Yeah. He just wanted to slap him.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like even though it's not the feel good ending of him going to see his daughter, it's totally in character for him to be like, no, I want revenge. Like I want justice. I want people to stop, like poor people that are already on like a shitty part, like you're taking advantage of that basically.
It doesn't go with the transformation that we thought we'd have as the character. The transformation we thought would be he'd be a better fan from learning his lesson. That's what I thought.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true because there was more of an angle of that. I mean, he wanted to be a better friend and a better son as well, and we didn't mention it, but part of him being even in the game caused him to lose his mom, which is an added layer of tragedy or trauma, whatever you want to call it, both of those, in the sense that like now he lost his mom because he wasn't around or something like that, which obviously a lot of that had to do with his own part, but some of that had to do with the people running the games and stuff like that. So I think it's entirely within his character to be like, no.
It is, but just for me, it's like because the guy, he doesn't even have a season 2. Like he didn't think of like this was going to be successful. Like, and it's like, but for me, and it's like one of those, not necessarily. I know Jim hates those Japanese anime story type endings that kind of have not so hopeful futures, but it just I guess just in the stage that I'm in my life, it's just like, how do you do that to your kid? Like everything like was about your family, like getting the money for your mom, getting the money for to be a better father and stuff. And like, you're doing this because of your family and you finally are out and you have the means. But I mean, it is his character because he kept doing it and like over and over again in the show where he would just keep
that's true.
letting them down. And so it's not out of character. It just like, for me, I wanted that. Like, let's just close the chapter.
That transformation.
It's done. But yeah, I mean, because I would have been totally happy with like a whole new set of characters, but like you keep the through line with the brothers, the cop brother and the frontman brother, and you keep that going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know in the season 2, like we can talk about that a little bit. It's like I don't know what we'll get with, the main character. What was his name in this?
Gihan or something like
that. Gihan, yeah, I think that's it. I feel like I don't think he's gonna be like. I don't know if he's gonna be the main character next season. I don't think he will be.
Yeah, it depends. I could see it going either way. If I had to guess, I feel like the writer would make him a secondary character.
I think so too.
New character, yeah. But I think just due to the popularity of the series, there is a possibility that Netflix would be like, you need to make him the main character again because people like him or something like that.
Yeah, but I feel like the story could be better with another set of all new characers and rebuilding that again.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that at all, Jim. I don't disagree with that at all. But I feel like, you had the number one Netflix thing ever.
Sure. But is it because of him specifically? I don't know. I think it's because of the show.
No, I'm sure. But like people, I think it'd be expectations, Jim, because now people are expecting him to return, just like, you get attached to characters.
Yeah, but I could see him showing up midway through season.
Like, you know what I really hate though? It's the Tournament of Champions and all the past winners come back and have to play again.
That absolutely hope they don't.
Because if they play that game, I mean, you know where this is ending. Everybody, if they come back.
I hated that when they did it with like Hunger Games or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's just stupid.
Yeah,
don't do that. But like that's why I would have been totally happy if he got on the plane. They showed Train Busan guy again, and he had a new guy, and that guy was like, playing the game with him, and that's how it ended. I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I liked how it ended because he's just like, you could just see the determination because he was about to walk onto the plane. The guy on the phone even tells him, like, it's best if you just get on that plane right now and see your door. Yep. And he's like, says whatever and just like turns around. I was like, he's about to go John Wick on their asses. Like, he's like, no, you're all fucking dead.
He's not John Wick, though.
He's not. He's a terrible fighter. He's we've had to establish the entire show.
He would have won the Squid Games, like, fair.
He's good at Squid Game. Like, he knew that they established that early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't they? I mean, was that him in the story in the beginning, or was it somebody else?
Yeah. No, as kids, that's what he was winning that.
So I feel like I don't know.
Overall, it's so easy to try to nitpick something that's great.
Again,
we talk about that a lot. But it's so easy to give negatives.
The highlight the goods is like I loved all the characters. Even like the less good characters were like compelling in their own way. Like his like
the girl and the gangster guy. Those two were like great. I thought they were so funny.
Yeah.
Like
the relationship is like I'm gonna kill you if you like betray me, and then it's like crazy. He's like, how's this bitch staying alive this whole time?
Like every time she survived, he's like, oh shit, like what the fuck, and like till finally she's like, I told you, like, it's like
no, it was a great dynamic with those two. So
but the friend, like I thought the friend was really tragic too, because I mean, before the game, like before he went back to the second entry of the games, he was gonna kill himself in that. Wherever he was, and stuff like that. So it's like, damn, like that dude. Like he literally
made his last phone call,
he had literally nothing to live for at that point anymore, and he did that, and that's why I was surprised that that hit me in that last episode where he like told the main character to be like, just take care of my mom or something, whatever it was, and he just like stabbed himself in the neck. So I think that was touching. And the relationship between the two female characters, I don't remember their names either. But I thought that was...
in the Marvel episode?
Yeah, that hit me harder than I expected it to, even though I was...
They didn't have a lot of time to establish those two together.
No, and they had a little bit more. Like, it felt manufactured. Like the Marvel episode just felt so manufactured. Like we need to get like this tearjerker episode in there. But it did work for the most part. I'm so mad at Ali because what? You do not do that. Like, come on, dude. Come on. Like, seriously.
How do you fall for that? Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Like, I just couldn't care about the girls that much. Because I guess it's like it felt like we just need to throw these two girls with each other. I don't know. She just came out of nowhere for the tug of war episode, and But at the same time, it still was a impactful and like emotional sequence, and you're like, oh shit,
Well,
this is not cool.
I just thought it was interesting because like both of them were like, let's not play into their games by like drawing this out for an hour, agonizing and just stressing over like what's going to happen. We know one of us has to die here, so let's just talk and have a conversation. And I thought that was refreshing because they're like, well, okay, this is gonna be the last moments for one of us, so let's just
Yeah, no, and like they even say it's like, oh, it doesn't matter like if we tell each other our deepest darkest secrets because we're not gonna be embarrassed because we won't be around to like or
and that's the other thing I felt, even though it wasn't explicitly stated outright, it wasn't like, hey, these two characters, but like I felt like these two characters, like outside of the games, they would have been like really good friends.
Like, and like that's like, let's do this together and stuff. Yeah, like, the one younger girl's like, oh, we'll go to Juju Island or whatever.
Get that one drink and stuff like that, and Ollie, I felt bad for Ollie because it's like, man, dude, like you got that family, you got to be
trusting full.
Yeah, you got
trusting full.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
he chose poorly for a partner.
But yeah, I liked the characters. I liked the set pieces and everything like that. I think everything was well thought out of. A little weirded out by the rapey VIP dude. I was like, oh
yeah, really I thought that was unnecessary, but whatever. I mean, they wanted that pizzazz to it, I guess. I don't know, the rich pizzazz.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to season 2. A lot, but we're ways away from that now. We're years away because he's working on so many other stuff. So, although I can't imagine like Netflix, but this is next.
So, I'm sure they're going to make it very worth his while to do that. Because Netflix is like, we were going to make money off of this. You're going to make money off of this.
And he clearly thought about a season 2 because he left enough threads in there. What was this about? Like the organ donor stuff, like the organ harvesters.
No ideas of what he was going to do. He just cause he was just so invested in getting this done that he didn't think about it at all. But now
he had to left threads. I mean, there's no reason to have those. Doesn't pay off later on. It's just done.
You cut out
because they didn't think about it.
30 seconds.
Oh, sorry. But he's got to think about. He's got to have a theory about what the organ harvesters are doing.
I don't think those have anything. I think the one thing that was left open was the brothers.
The brother definitely, yes.
Because he just got shot in the shoulder. Like, he could have survived that.
And that was intentional, too. Like, I thought it was very intentional. Because, it's like, you're that close. Like, you have to specifically...
And you've been shooting, on point everywhere else. It's like, yeah.
Which is, maybe that theory about him taking it down from the inside, maybe you're not wrong.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Because if you think about it, his words to his brother were, if you come with me, you will live. Like, that's what he said. It was very oddly worded. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting if his brother did come with him, he would have just shot all the helpers with him. Just been like, fuck these dudes.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Because, he doesn't give a fuck about any of them. He's like, you took your mask off, bro, you're dead. Like, fuck you.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. That might have been the other debt people, that theory, too. There's so many cool theories. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. So, yeah, I liked it, though. So, anything else to add, guys?
No, it
was very enjoyable. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have to say, being Korean, I'm very proud of my Korean culture here, being number 1 in how many countries right now. It's funny because
worldwide,
my kid's grandmother, she's also Korean, and she's so happy about this. It's so funny. You just talk to me about it. It's like, oh, did you see Squid Game is number 1? I was like, yeah, I saw. So it's pretty funny. Even her, who's 60 years old, she's hearing about this show, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely. So. I mean, Corey, I talked with you on the car ride in, but Jim, this will be new for you. I just think it's an awesome win for I'm not Korean, I'm half Taiwanese, but I think it's an awesome any win for the Asian community. I'll take as well.
Yeah, we all have to celebrate as as a
So the back-to-back 1-2 punch of
Shang-Chi in this. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
What I'm saying. I'm like, we needed this. We, the Asian community, really needed this to, just because of the shit that's been going on the past, 2 years.
Absolutely.
So I'm super happy, even aside from the actual quality of the show and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm super happy to see it be successful and hope it continues. Because, it reminds me of, last year or 2 years ago, I guess, when Parasite won Movie of the Year, and the director was like, what was his quote? Something like, "The world of movies has so much more to offer you if you just can get past reading like a 1-inch size dialogue of subtitles, basically." And just like from that to this, like I'm just like, yes, like maybe now the tides are turning for people being like, oh, it's not in my native language, I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah. I hope to see transitions on that for a while.
A lot of good.
Yeah,
a lot of good stuff on Netflix that's not in English.
Tons of great stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of great movies we've watched growing up, like that were fantastic from Japan, from China. I mean, there's some Korean dramas that have been comedies too that I've seen. I mean, there's been a lot of great films. People are just skipping because they don't know about it and because they don't want to give the time and read the subtitles. And I'm like, just even foreign films, there's European films that I've never seen probably. You don't watch that stuff, but you definitely should open up to that. And hopefully this lets more foreign ideas come in and lets the Hollywood style movies.
Idea is gonna be made in English. So
no, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, hopefully the Hollywood style movies also take note and decide to change a little bit because there's different styles, and I think that Hollywood itself is tired of the same style, and we talk about that a lot, remakes and rehashes, and there's so many great there that we're not experiencing from the international level of things. So hopefully this does it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even aside from the Asians, like I think the other front runner for like most popular Netflix show was Lupin, I think, and that's
French. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's just like I love seeing success where it's just like not the same old like English speaking American crap. It's like let's expand and broaden horizons.
Well, and what did we say? Bridgerton was the other one that was the most watched before, and that English.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna wrap up this bonus round. Thanks for tuning in. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of this on Twitch. We're on Twitch, YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Write us allyoucangeek@gmail.com as well. Thanks for tuning in. We're out.